Hi! My name is Cara Hillstock, and I am the narrative designer and project lead for a novel idea. The game that we made is called Pride vs. Prejudice, a competitive multiplayer novel. It is almost exactly what it says, a roster-based competitive multiplayer narrative experience. The idea of the game is that you choose from a roster of characters. Once both players have selected their character, they are given an objective. For example, if you picked Lizzie and Darcy, the theme of their story is rivals to lovers. Lizzie's objective is to have Jane marry Bingley. Darcy's objective is to prevent Mr. Bingley from marrying Jane. Once you start the game, you will each be thrown into your own individual stories. That being said, any choices that you make not only affect your chances of achieving your objectives, but also will affect the other player's chances of achieving their objectives. So, for example, in the first scene, Mr. Darcy is trying to talk Mr. Bingley out of throwing a ball. Mr. Bingley wants to throw the ball to attract Jane. Mr. Darcy does not want Mr. Bingley to throw the ball so that he does not end up with Jane because that's against Mr. Darcy's objective. So, Mr. Darcy can get an option to convince Mr. Bingley to throw a seance instead, because no respectable lady would come to a seance. At the end of these individual scenes, the game will then bring the players together for a scene in which they can both interact. There are different choices that the player can select and different kinds of gameplay depending on which scene the players end up in. Although we're only able to show Act 1 in the current build of the game, I did want to give a shout out to all of the hard work that the rest of the devs did during this jam. The artist created art and expressions for 11 different characters, along with the UI, backgrounds, title screen, credit screens, and character rosters. The musician made 14 different songs, and I wrote 20,000 words. We have this route in its entirety, although we're only able to show you Act 1 as of now. That being said, I hope you can see what our vision was for this project, and I hope you enjoy what we do have to show for ourselves. I'd like to thank Playcrafting and the sponsor Google Stadia for inviting us to this jam. It's allowed us to completely experiment, and I can't wait to see where what we have now will take us.